Welcome to this week's video, where we actually need to go back in time for this particular project. Perhaps not that far back. Today is the day going to actually start to renovate the stable block because it's long overdue. Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of time in the summer because we're obviously out competing, so inevitably it's ended up middle of winter and going to try and do it now, which isn't going to obviously help with paint drying. Or first things first, it needs a good wash with the pressure washer, so that's going to take some time. We've got 4 stables, so the idea is obviously with only 2 of them, they're going to do a little bit of stable swapping. So Bo's going to go from his current stable, which is here, into what has been used as a store. So we're just sort of emptying the stuff out, and a lot of it's going to go into one of the other stores or up to the barn, so that he can then move into there while his stable's being cleaned. But obviously this one's going to need a clean first. And then as for Top Cat, he is in this stable here, this little door. And he is then going to move into the current store. You can see this has become a bit of a dumping corner here. And the walls are pretty disgusting. So that is going to be the project. How long it's going to take, I don't know, but you can follow as we give it a bit of a makeover. It was done probably, it's a bit embarrassing now, it's probably about 3 or 4 years ago it was painted, so it's well overdue. So we're currently clearing up, so I'm going to start sort of brushing up. Finished washing. I'm pretty pleased. Would have liked a little bit more of the sort of grot to come off the walls, but pretty sure the paint will now cover. So, what do you think of the tidying up? Yeah? Not sure? No? Okay, so yeah, nothing's been done in his stable yet, but it does need a clean. Oh, he's going to pull cute faces now. And then tomorrow is Beau's stable to wash, and then he'll hopefully move into the spare stable, just for probably a couple of nights, because we do need to paint his stable. We've also taken the not bars, it was 2 bits of plywood, because previously 2 of my horses didn't get on. So that's basically it for this evening. Managed to wash all the stables and the outer area now. Didn't go quite according to plan. I managed to get the stables that I washed yesterday wet again, so I have ended up keeping the boys in their original stables, so the bedding's gone back down. Not ideal because it's obviously gone down on a wet floor. But it will come up again so that I can paint. So Tack is still in his little house. You can see him there, as always, eating. So I'm quite pleased with how clean it's come up. But obviously the plan is to paint, but it is a little bit weather dependent. It's quite cold here at the moment. And obviously that's not going to help with drying, and I still probably have to swap them around in the stables, because the last thing I need is them covered in paint, which I think even with Tack, even if we do his white, I still reckon he'll find the one bit of wet paint and get it everywhere, so won't be trying to do that. The outer areas had a good wash on the mats, but as you can see, somebody's been in with dirty little feet. But that's it for now, and continue again tomorrow. See you then. The end of usable footage. There's obviously a lot of other things we've done, but I did have a few issues with my camera. It's my first video that I actually recorded, so there was a few sort of teething issues with it. Plus I'm sure you don't want to watch any more of me painting, because it's a bit painful, a bit like watching paint dry. So that is all the footage we sort of got to sort of show. So now it's time to show the sort of finished result. So as you can see, we finished painting the walls. This is, well, it's been done probably about a month now, the actual paintwork. And the weather's just so grotty at the moment that it's beginning to look like it needs doing again already. So definitely a job plan for the summer. Tack has moved into this stable. But if you've watched my yard tour, you would see that was actually video after we finished all the paintwork and Topcat had moved. So he's in that stable there, and he's got his little Sprout toy there, which he quite likes telling off. I think he's squashed his face a bit as well. He's looking a bit squished, but he does like that. We have now got blanket racks outside the stables, which are great for putting the rugs on when I'm taking them off. And in this corner was a real mess originally. We've now got a table and some fold-up chairs, and my trunk that was actually in the tack room has moved out here. So that's quite useful storage. I've got a lot more storage solutions now, so that means I can keep things a bit tidier, hopefully. Topcat's old stable is now the feed room and store. So in here is basically everything that we need. We've got haylage, bedding, all the tools. We've got some hooks up to hang hay nets and bits and pieces off of. And notably the scissors, which I always seem to misplace. So they've got their own hook now. And I've got my feed bins in here as well. And this garden shed was my sort of space-saving idea for the feed. And also it means if Topcat is loose and this door is open, he can't get at the feed, which is ideal because that's where he'll beeline to if he gets an opportunity. So you see I've got a shelf with all my supplements on. And then these little tubs down here have got their individual feeds in. So they're colour coordinated, I know which ones are which. And they're on balancers, so they don't go through a huge amount. It's relatively small quantities. So I find that sort of quite a good way of doing it. It also means I can just grab them if we're going to a stay away or off for training anywhere. So that's quite handy. And that's secure for Topcat now. If we come out of here, that wall is already looking grubby where Topcat's been rubbing on it. But it looks a lot better than it did. I can't believe quite how bad I let it get. It looked better just after a wash. And nothing's really sort of changed too much in Beau's stable. But he has finally, after 3 years, got a nameplate. So finally got around to doing that. And again, we've got another blanket rack just outside. And I've got my organiser with my brushes. And I've got some drawers there for various bits and pieces. So now we've had a bit of a spruce up. And now I've got to keep it like it. So the plan is to paint again in the summer because it was not a good time of year to be trying to paint. And I think that's probably why it's beginning to suffer already. But it does look an awful lot cleaner than it did. Probably should have painted other than white. White looks grubby very quickly. There we go. That's what we had on site. I think that it was white Santex paint. It was bought for a parents' house that was due to be done a few years ago, but hasn't been done yet. I think that might be on the cards later in the summer. I help my dad try and paint the house. I might have to buy him some paint because I've used it on the stables. But it needed using because it was beginning to get a bit old. Which is perhaps why it's looking like it needs doing again already. I'm going to blame the age of the paint, not my painting skills. The other project, which has been a sort of long time sort of planning. The tack room. And this is the tack room now. So quite a big job. I could actually quite happily live in here now. I am really, really pleased with how it's looking. And I've got a lot of my rosettes up now, including some of the ones that were kept on the lorry from the bigger competitions. This is was my brother's kitchen, I think, that he no longer wanted. So it's been stored in the barn for a few years. And now I've got it in here. So I've got lots of storage to keep everything neat and tidy. And I've even got a coffee machine, which is fantastic, particularly winter mornings, because it means I can get a second cup of coffee rather than having to run back down to the house. So that's great. The other really cool thing I've now got in here is a small fridge, which has got all the essentials in it. So I've got carrots for the boys. There's a bit of leftover Christmas swede. Got Bo's ice packs down there for his boots. And in the door of all the essentials, I've got some drinks. Got my little milk container for the coffee machine. And there's also a bottle of Prosecco if you feel like celebrating, perhaps after coming back from a competition. If you've done extremely well, or even if you've just travelled well, perhaps we feel like celebrating then. So like I say, I've got lots of storage now. So I've got my hats up there and some cups in that one. Over here, it still needs a little bit of organising, but I've got my tack cleaning stuff and a first aid kit. In this wicker basket, I got my fly hoods and my gel pad. And then on down, all my bandages are in that cupboard. Boots in that one. And then I've got drawers full of bits and pieces. That's, like I say, it still needs some organising. And over here, got Top Cat's favourite cupboard. I've got the treats, my clippers in that one. And the one that's in the corner that's a bit trapped is got first aid kit for the horse in. I've got a sort of an ottoman there. I don't think there's anything in that at the moment, but it's quite nice to sit on. I got a sort of towel rail, which is quite good for hanging my saddle cloths on when they come off, if they can be used again, not too sweaty. So that is the tack room. So I think that's about it for this week. As you can see, we've had quite a sort of makeover of the stables. There are a few more bits that obviously need to be done going forward. It's time to sort of really concentrate on Bo and the riding. So got a lot of training sort of planned, and we now need to look at the competition schedules and see what works. And it's quite exciting. New year, new start. A real goal this year is to focus quite a lot on training. 2024, here we come. Right, I'll see you next week. Bye.